Hi, Tim. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I'm excited to be speaking with you and about National University.
Thank you, Andrew. It's great to be here.
Let's start off and hear a little bit about what is National University and what is your role at the organization?
Sure, National University has been around since the 70s. It was founded as almost like a military uh, university for service members who were overseas to be able to earn degrees while they were deployed. And we've really kind of transformed that we have an on-campus classes, and we're really branching out into the online uh, industry as well.
And what is your role at the company?
I am the senior manager of SEO over at National University.
I want to hear a little bit about your history in SEO. And I ask this because I've spoken to a lot of new digital marketers or maybe college students who might want to be marketers. And sometimes I'm rambling off of like, you do SEO, you could do ads, you could do Facebook, you could do video. And it's like a million directions you can go into in the digital world. Why did SEO become your expertise?
I think it became my expertise because when back in like 2010, 2011, me and a buddy of mine started a company. At that point, we had the old school cell phones with the teeny tiny screens, and websites were not responsive. So we had this great idea that we were going to create these little mobile websites that you could pull up on your phone, and it would, fit the actual screen of your phone. And we were going door to door trying to sell these little mobile websites to restaurants and businesses, and everybody's like, "Why do I need a mobile website? I have a regular website. Nobody's looking for my website online on a mobile phone anyway, right?" So we were like, we need to get this thing online and expand our audience. So we went to a bunch of different marketing agencies at the time. And being a young bootstrap company, we were just pretty much laughed out the door. We didn't have, any of the budget to be able to really hire somebody. And, I think by the time we were told no, the fifth or sixth, time we were told no, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to figure out how to do this myself. So I went home and just, started Googling and started learning, understanding, following people who were doing it, grabbing little tips, and made a bunch of little websites, and it did a bunch of testing. In all that, I didn't learn anything fast enough to help that business, but it did set me on my way to actually kind of falling in love with the SEO game. I kind of think of it as a little bit of a game, and from that point forward, I just stayed in it. I love that. I didn't even know it existed until I was really, kind of getting into it that way. So it just kind of fell into it by accident.
I want to hear your thoughts on how SEO has changed specifically in the last year. And I'll give the reason why this is on my mind. So I have some friends here at SEO who are publishing more content than they ever could imagine because of ChatGPT.
Mhm.
For me as an individual, I planned my entire honeymoon through Gemini and didn't go to Google as we were in Santa Barbara, and I didn't want to go to Google and type, best restaurants in Santa Barbara. I just told, Gemini, this is what I'm looking for. Tell me where to go. So how
Mhm.
has the game of SEO shifted specifically in the last 12 years because of LLMs emerging?
Well, I think that back when I first started, it was really easy. You know what I mean? To kind of get yourself ranked. Even until maybe about 4 years ago, it was fairly easy to get a website as long as you had a decent amount of authority, to go out there. And even if for brand new sites, right after maybe 5, 6 months, you could start to rank some stuff there. But with everything changing with AI and so much content being thrown out there, you really have to focus on not only the question that's being asked, but kind of think 3 steps ahead of that. So, like if you're looking for the oil for a 1992 Toyota Camry, then you might want to include in that, here's the oil filter you're going to need, here's the tools you're going to need, are they metric, are they this? So, really, just as you build your content, answering those next questions that they have, and kind of showing search that you have everything right in one spot. And then also what that allows you to do, hopefully, is as uh, the websites get crawled by these AI engines, they start to build up a little bit of a knowledge base as well, and it can pull back some of your information and drop it into that generative search feature.
For you, just as a SEO professional, how have you needed to evolve your skills over the last decade? So you're still, in demand. And I say this because sometimes I meet guys or girls who were great funnel copywriters a decade ago, and their funnels aren't converting in the 2024 ecosystem and culture. And I don't want to give them the harsh feedback of, you just haven't evolved your copywriting skills in a decade. So just you as an individual, how do you keep up with everything and be a top-notch SEO professional?
Well, I think one of the things I love to do is I have about 4 or 5 little websites on the side that I play with all the time just to kind of
Mhm.
see what happens. I have 2 fully generated AI websites that
Very cool.
definitely got smashed during this last update that just came out. So it worked because both of them are down pretty hard. And then also, do I love to learn. I love to keep playing around, testing things. I love talking with other SEOs in the industry. If I know anything, I'm going to share it with you. And if somebody else knows, that's a great relationship there to kind of talk back and forth to gain that experience from individuals. I'll go out and buy all these, the different SEO courses that come out, and you might know 99% of all the information that this person talks about, but they say that one thing and you're like, I never thought of that. Or, why didn't I think of that? Right. Because it's right there and it's obvious, but I never thought of it. So it's like that one little gem that you get. And I just continue to keep going out there and trying to find those little gems and just knowing that things are changing. You can't just sit there and do
Mhm.
everything the way that you used to, and I think that's one of the things I actually like about it. It's that cat and mouse game. That once you kind of get it figured out, they're going to pull the rug out from under you. Sometimes you're going to have to go and figure it out all over.
I had a friend whose business pretty much collapsed because of he got all of his traffic through a highly SEO site, and some update happened. I don't remember which one. And they were doing probably 30 million a year, and just revenue vanished overnight. What's hard with those updates?
Yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes you think you're doing everything right, and then you find out that you're not. Especially like a lot of the older algorithms. I was around for the pandas and the penguins that
Right.
really came through and crushed a lot of people. But that was when I was kind of new to it, so I kind of stepped my feet in there. Helping people recover from that, which is
Mhm.
really helpful. And one of the things that I did learn with SEO, and this is I think a really not talked about that much is the answers to all your questions are right there, right? So just search for what you're looking for, and the search engine is going to show you what you need to be there. And then you need to take that information and then build on top of it, right? Because if you do everything that everybody else is doing, you're just gonna get the same results. But take what they're doing and figure out different ways to kind of tinker with it and play with it, think outside the box and build upon it. And that's how you can continue to just keep, finding yourself back there at the top of the search results.
I want to elaborate on that point a little bit more, and this is through my dialogues with maybe business owners or CMOs who don't understand SEO to the depth that you do. And it's not just as simple as having some meta tags and put in best pizza shop Encinitas, and you're just automatically ranking #1 in SEO on
Yeah.
Google. What actually leads to SEO success for the long term?
I think it's constant planning and strategy. Just like you said, I've had this happen so many times where it's like, here, we've written this great piece. No, I need you to SEO it. Throw some keywords in there and do this. And like, that's not how it works. You have to, that it has to be there from the beginning, it has to be baked into the entire outline of the content, right? So one of the things that we've developed here internally is this really nice, content brief outline where, it's giving some of the writers
Mhm.
that we work with, you know, it's giving it the title, the URL structures, it's giving them all the subheadings that they need to write to, notes for each subheading about what needs to be said inside of it, different keywords that they may be able to work into content or not, and really just providing them with as much information as possible, links to the other sources that they can use inside the content that make their job a little bit easier, and also they make sure that when we get our content back, it's what we're looking for, right? So I think you really need to start from a position of strategy where you're creating content not for SEO, but with SEO in mind from the very beginning, right?
Mhm.
And then like I think one of the biggest things that most people that I've talked to anyway don't really think about is you need to make sure that you can rank for the stuff you're trying to go after, right? One of the first things that I'll look at, from any SEO opportunity is, can we rank for that keyword? We built out this keyword difficulty baseline, which gives us the average, position and the average, you look at SEMrush and Ahrefs and them, and you has that 1 to 100 dial for how difficult it is to rank for it.
Right.
So, if our keyword difficulty baseline ends up being, we have most of our keywords that rank, in position 1 through 3 between, 55 and 60 for difficulty, then we know that those are the keywords at that point and below that we can realistically go after and rank for right now. And we might have a few keywords that are in the 70s or 80 difficulty level that we can't get to right now. But what we'll do is, as we're building our keyword footprint out, and as we're going out and we're acquiring links to the site and building up some of that authority, every 6 months to a year, we're going to go back and rerun our keyword difficulty
Mhm.
baseline. And then as we can start to go after some of those more difficult keywords, then we'll start to work them into our strategy. But, I've seen so many times where people just are beating their head against the wall, going after things that they have no realistic opportunity to go after. And they're wondering why it's not working. Sometimes you have to start a little bit smaller and build up to it.
Uh, I have a follow-up question to that, and your answer might be, well, I need to know more information, as that's the answer I might give. But if you could make some overgeneralizations, which is, when is the right time for a business to incorporate an SEO strategy into their marketing plan? What factors do you look at to go SEO is right? And Facebook ads is more of my background, and I kind of have that sense where I can tell people it's not worth your while. Is going to feel like you're just gambling money, and just go bet on the NCAA tournament this weekend. So when is the SEO, when is SEO best incorporated into the marketing plan?
I think, definitely we could say we need a little bit more information, but I'll kind of come with it, talk about it from this perspective, understanding what the goals are of the business. And
Mhm.
then, the overall goals of the business, not just the SEO goals, but just say, what are your goals as a business? What are you trying to accomplish? And then going back and reverse engineering that and saying, what can we do from an SEO perspective to help them get to that goal, right?
Mhm.
And if we can find some things that will align, then we can start to create, a strategy to get them from point A to point B. To help to move those goals. Because really, SEO, you have a bunch of vanity metrics about
Mhm.
traffic and all these other things, and all that stuff matters if it's not the target audience that you really want to end up to your website. And if those keywords aren't, commercial based keywords that are bringing revenue into your business, right? So, traffic for the sake of traffic is worthless. It's that targeted
Mhm.
traffic that's going to just commercial keywords that's really, relevant, right? So, making sure that we can build a strategy to get you to your goal. And then I would say, from an SEO perspective, if you're starting a website brand new, start then. It's so much, and I know a lot of people don't have the budget to do that, but just make sure that we have, a proper website structure, the right
Mhm.
URL, the proper URLs, that you have all your on page tags there. Just from a technical SEO standpoint, make sure you have that nice solid foundation, because it's so much easier to start building, SEO campaigns from a solid foundation than it is to go back and fix a bunch of stuff to make that foundation strong to be able to start building
Mhm.
campaigns from. So if you have the opportunity, from the get go, just work with somebody just from a technical SEO perspective, just to make sure about everything's clean and ready to rock. And then as get the budget and you want to invest a little bit more in it, you have that nice, clean, solid foundation to start to build from.
You made a comment about vanity metrics, and
Mhm.
I would like to know, what are the actual KPIs, the metrics that you pay attention to in SEO, and kind of bring it back to Facebook ads, which is my role. Sometimes, a marketer or a business owner will, talk to me about how great their CTR rate is, as if that's the king metric, which it's kind of an indicator of you're on the right path, but success isn't based upon CTR.
Exactly.
What is the KPIs and the metrics you pay attention to?
The metrics that I pay attention to are the metrics that drive revenue. So, qualified leads that come into the organization, or sales if it's an e-commerce website, right? And those are the two big things that you're looking at. But then you really want to kind of look at, like you said, what leads to that, right? Because that's the end of the journey. So what's getting them there, and what's getting them there is that lower, mid, and upper funnel content, and making sure that you have continuity between them. So as they come in, at the top of that funnel, they continue to work their way down to that mid funnel. We're continuing to answer questions. We're educating them for the product or the service, whatever they're looking for, and allowing them to dive deeper into that funnel and begin to gain some trust with your brand. And then once they gain that trust and they're getting a lot of their questions answered, then they're going to be more likely to submit information to either a salesperson or to purchase whatever product they're looking for. It really depends. If it's a small ticket item, they might just purchase real quick. But for some of these larger things, for especially with the university, people are spending a lot of money to go back to school, so that's a big purchase. It takes a lot of time, and I don't think that people even reach out to us until they're 85% of the way there, and they really can't have any more things answered on the website anymore, because at this point we can't get that personalized, right? So they have to reach out to an enrollment representative
Mhm.
to get a little bit more information and move further down that funnel. But I would say, the qualified leads or sales or the end goal, but in the beginning of that, really looking at your commercial keyword footprint too. So what are the keywords that are going to drive revenue to your business? And they don't need to be high volume keywords, right? You might have a keyword that gets 10 searches a month, but it's very targeted just for you. And if somebody's searching for that, then you're perfect for them and you need to show for that keyword, right? And
Mhm.
if I get 10 people to my website that are really juicy leads, I'll take that and maybe we'll get like six of them. Then to go after some weird keyword that has 1,000 searches a month, that we might get one person out of that 1,000 actually do something.
So my last question today, Tim, is what's an area of marketing that you're excited for in 2024?
I would say figuring out what's going to happen here with this, that when Google rolls out the generative search, to everybody, right? It's been in the search labs for since last year, right? So I've been playing around with it, but really kind of getting an idea of how people are going to adopt it, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it takes a long time for those searches to load up, 6, 7 seconds. Are people going to wait around up top for that to have it? Have that load up before they start moving down? Are they going to, some of the searches just have, would you like an AI generated answer for this? But it's just a little bar that doesn't really say anything else. So really, like, how that's going to affect us and what are we going to do and able to combat that? A lot of studies that I've been reading and looking at really kind of talk about how, in that generative search, the little like chiclet citations that pop up, a lot of those aren't even in the top 10 in search results, right? So where are they pulling them from? How are they getting there? Why are they more relevant to this particular generation than it is to the first, second, third, or fourth result, which you would imagine, which I thought would be what kind of pops up there, right? Like a glorified, feature snippet, right? But that's not what's happening. So really breaking that down and understanding how that's happening, and then starting to build strategies around making sure we get popped up there, right? So one of the things that I was looking at, I think Michael King came out with this. He was saying that a lot of times they're saying um, websites from the 9 position are popping up there a lot. So what's that number 9 position have that the top 8 do not? Is it a little bit different, right? So like maybe the top 8 all follow the same lead and number 9's there because they did something different. So maybe now we need to kind of look at what's number 9, number 10, number 11 doing that's right there on the cusp, but not up at the top, and incorporating some of the things that they're doing into your post in order to make sure that you can build up maybe like a wider circle of information for the generative search to pull from and pull for results.
What is your perfect world of what happens when this is rolled out?
It goes away. Let's keep it easy, right? Like it always has been. I think when it first comes out, it's really gonna depend on the website you have, right? If you have a lot of top funnel stuff, that you're probably gonna get beat up pretty bad.
Mhm.
But hopefully, you have a lot of that mid funnel, lower funnel keyword footprint, and I don't think those guys are going to get beat up as much, right? They're
Mhm.
not going to be able to provide these, you know, generic search results for some of these more intricate questions. So really pivoting and making sure that you have that mid funnel, lower funnel content really built out in your website can maybe help you from taking such a hit from an organic traffic
Mhm.
standpoint, and then kind of sitting back and look at it. Hey, was all that high funnel content really converting for you? Right? Was
Mhm.
it doing anything for you, or were you always getting these leads from this lower upper funnel, mid funnel, kind of keyword results? So taking a look at how it's going to affect you and kind of game plan for it. I wish I could give you some advice on how to do that, but I have a few things I've been playing around with, but nothing that I could really say works all the time.
Well, Tim, can you lastly share, websites, your URLs, best ways to follow up with you or a national university?
Absolutely. National University, just nu.edu. That's the main website there. The best way to kind of get in touch with me if you wanted to was to jump onto my LinkedIn account, and that's Timothy Prestianni over at LinkedIn. And that would be like the main place to get a hold of me. I don't really play around on Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff. So it's really just LinkedIn.
Perfect, Tim. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Andrew. You have a great one.